Hi, good people. In this video, I'm going to go over the answer to question 1 from the recent homework assignment, Factoring by Grouping. I am happy to say that it's May 3rd right now. The assignment was due on May 1st by midnight, and I have 33 people that submitted their work, so it's a little bit more than half of you. I'm happy to see that, and I hope this video helps a few more of you get the work completed. We always begin these type of factoring problems by taking the leading coefficient and the constant at the end and multiplying them together. So multiply the coefficient of x squared by the constant at the end. I'm just going to take 3 and 7 and multiply them. 21. That means we have to find a pair of numbers with a product equal to 21 and a sum equal to 22. You always use the middle number there as the number that you're trying to find, two numbers that add up to. So we have to find two numbers that multiply to 21 and add up to 22. To do that, we take the number we're looking for a product of and just divide it by every number starting at 1. What I'm doing is building all the factor pairs of the number 21. 21 divided by 2. Oh, that doesn't go into it evenly, so that doesn't count. 21 divided by 3. That goes into it 7 times, so 3 multiplied by 7. 21 divided by 4. That doesn't go into it evenly either, so that doesn't count. And we don't have to check 21 divided by 5 because there's a rule that says you only have to check up to the square root of the number, and you will have ran into every factor pair of that number. And the square root of 21 is 4 point something, so we don't have to check past 4. So out of these things over here, these factor pairs, do any of these add up to 22? Hopefully you realize that the first pair of numbers do in fact add up to 22. So we're going to write these numbers as 1 and 21. And the order doesn't matter. You could have written that as 21 and 1. I'm just going to write it in the order in which it's written over here, 1 and 21. I'm going to put those numbers right here. So what we did is we used the numbers that we found out to break up this middle term here as 1x plus 21x. So 22x was now expanded out as 1x plus 21x. And now we group these together, the first and last two terms, and we factor out the greatest common factor from each of them. Let's focus on this for a second. What is the GCF of 3x squared and 1x? Well, each of those terms is evenly divisible by x. We're going to factor out an x. There's no number other than that and 1 that they can be divided by. X goes into 3x squared how many times? If you're not good at that, just write it off to the side. Do 3x squared divided by x, and then use your rules that we learned for properties of exponents. You subtract the exponents on the x's because they have a common base, and 3 divided by 1 is 3, so it's 3x. And then 1x divided by x is equal to 1, so we have 3x plus 1. Over here, we're going to factor out the greatest common factor. What's the greatest common factor of 21x and 7? Each of those are evenly divisible by what? Well, you could use your calculator, math over 9, greatest common divisor, 21 and 7. Looks like 7's the biggest number that evenly divides them. 21x divided by 7, that is equal to 3x. 7 divided by 7, that is equal to 1. And now this is the part where I think some of you are having some trouble when I'm looking at the work that you submitted. The last step is you have to recognize that in this binomial and binomial, we have the same thing. So this is what we call a common binomial factor. Since it exists in both parts of the expression, it can be factored out. And I just take that common binomial factor and I write it down. When I pulled out this 3x plus 1 from the first part of the expression, I'm left with an x. When I pulled out the 3x plus 1 from the second part of the expression, I'm left with a 7, and then I'm done. Now, you don't have to do this every time, but I'm going to check my work here just to make sure we did this correctly. This is our final answer. I'm going to check my work by foiling it. First times the first, 3x times x is 3x squared. Outside times the outside, 7 times 3x is 21x. Inside times the inside, 1 times x is 1x. And the last times the last, 1 times 7, that's 7. Now I'm going to take my two middle terms, combine them. 21x plus 1x is 22x. And since we got the thing that we started with here, we did this correctly. All right, so we just checked our work. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps some of you, and I know some of you are asking me about question number 1, so I hope this helped. And stay tuned for a new assignment posted on Monday.